Alrighty. Just at the last minute. Here we go. Hopefully continuity camera is more cooperative this morning. Hey, welcome back to Tailosive Tech, live on YouTube on a very early morning. So early that I probably should turn on studio light. Is that better? A little bit. I don't have my normal natural lighting in the window. Sorry for the late start of the stream. I think I discovered a new watchOS 9 beta bug. Because essentially I set an alarm on my watch and I wore it to bed, and it was supposed to go off at 4:20, and then I would wake up and start at 4:30, but the alarm never went off. So I'm just glad I woke up at um, I think 4:47 or so. That's when I woke up. So I just turned on all the lights and got started here. I'm glad I didn't miss it, but I'm sorry I missed the start of the stream. I was hoping to start a bit earlier than now, but that's okay. Um, Good morning, Jeff. Thanks for coming in. This is, in case some people are wondering why I do this, basically it acts as a great reminder to let everybody know if you want an M2 MacBook Air on launch day to order it as soon as the website goes live. Um, that because there's a lot of people that forget about those kinds of things, and then the next morning all the shipping times have been pushed out. You need a super chat powered alarm clock. That would be kind of interesting if someone could make that, but no, this is everything was set and alarms were supposed to go off and they didn't go off. Let's see. Did an all-nighter, but I ain't buying it. I don't know why you did an all-nighter. Oh my god. Yeah, we got less than 5 minutes to go. Since I'm using continuity camera again, I think I've figured out how to avoid it from bugging out. The key seems to be using wireless only, is to not plug it in and do the wired option. Hey, Alex, thank you for becoming a supporter. I saw your tweets. Unfortunately, no matter how many people tweeted me, it didn't matter because I was asleep. Um, Good morning. Yeah, good morning. It just works. The M2 Pro 13-inch didn't sell out. Well, that doesn't surprise me at all because it's an old design, and they literally even recycled the packaging from the M1 MacBook Pro. So, does not shock me that the M2 MacBook Pro did not sell out. But this is a new design, new chassis, and I think a much better MacBook. You know, all the videos talking about the new MacBooks basically just said, no, just wait for the MacBook Air, wait for that. What color are you getting, and why is it not midnight? Midnight? Who told you I wasn't getting midnight? No, I know Marquez had his complaints about it. I talked about it in a previous stream that uh, I haven't seen it in person yet, but I think that the fingerprints and the smudges and stuff is quite noticeable even on space gray. I have a space gray MacBook Pro, and you still collect those kinds of things. I don't know if maybe it's way more noticeable with midnight, but I don't know. I've gotten Starlight products in the past, and I've gotten silver, and I've gotten space gray. So midnight is a brand new MacBook color, in at least in the more recent history. I guess we haven't had Starlight before, but I don't know. I had a Starlight iPad Mini, and I didn't think it looked that great. So it's a new color, and I don't intend on necessarily keeping it. So if I got to test something out, I think Midnight would be the coolest one. I'll be buying just a space gray cable from my MacBook Pro. There you go. Now it's color matched. Yes, this is for review purposes. Do you recommend 8 GPU or 10 GPU with 16 gigs RAM with 512 gig or 1 TB? Need help? I need help to answer that question. What are you going to be doing with it? If you're doing some light web browsing and using it for text editing for college and that kind of thing, then no, I don't think you need to spend the extra money. You'll probably be perfectly happy with the base model. If you're going to be using it for a lot of power intensive tasks, lots of heavy duty video editing and that kind of stuff, then I would say, yeah, get the highest RAM, highest storage you can, because you'll probably take advantage of it. Um, the midnight is the blue we wanted. Apple goes super light blue or super dark blue for Macs. I think that helps with paint manufacturing and that kind of stuff. Pre-orders start right as I have a clock. I have to clock in for work. Guess which one I'm more focused on? Of course. You got your priorities straight. Dude, when do I sleep? Too long, I guess, because I slept past the start of the stream. So I'm gonna order it right off my MacBook here. Let's see. Because I normally I would order yeah, it still says be right back. Normally I would order off my phone, but now my phone is my webcam, so there's no way around that now. Base model will be fine. That's how I feel too. I mean, like if you are having to ask, you probably should just opt for the higher storage if you're not sure. Um, if you can't afford it, but I feel like your use case and lifestyle is probably not that mandatory of the higher performance because if it was, you would probably not be considering the MacBook Air in the first place. Um, Sad that purple isn't one of the colors. I need shoe recommendations, but I won't give you my shoe size, budget, or where I'm going to buy them. That's pretty much how it feels when people are like, "What should I buy? What should I get?" Um, oh, I think it's up. I just refreshed. Oh, okay. Both storage models are available at launch. Apple Store pickup is unavailable. So I ran a poll and people want me to get the 512 gig one, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, here I go. Review bag. Um, pay monthly. Okay, hopefully, yeah, Friday, July 15th for free. That's good. Let's check it out. Okay, I gotta. It's gonna make me sign in and everything. Okay, here we go. Speed run time. Come on, I could fill all this crap out. It's asking me for all the. Sorry, I can't show the screen. It just kind of gives away some things. Um. Okay. Once factor authentication. My card is like, "What are you doing? What have you done?" Uh. Okay. I'd like it delivered. That works for me. Um. Man, it has so much dated info. How does it get this? Sorry, I can't see the chat right now. It's forgot all my private info. Okay. Apple Card. That works. Delivers to Drew's address. And okay, I'm gonna hit place order. It's buffering, it's loading. Here it goes. You're all set. Okay, we'll send confirmation and shipping updates. Cool. Delivers Friday, July 15th. Oh my God. That was stressful. I was worried I was going to miss it. Oh, and someone super chatted while I was away. Hey, AJ, thank you. He says, can't wait for that YouTuber being over dramatic about, about the M2 Air's upcoming issues. Well, I feel like even if the M2 is throttled more, see, geez, I look so red. I can't tell if continuity camera is making it worse or better. What happens if I turn it off? Yeah, neither is great, is it? Can I turn this on? Or no, maybe this. Oh yeah, that helps a little bit. Lighting is driving me nuts. It provides a little bit of backlight. This cable's making a mess. Whew, okay. Buy all models while you're at it. That was not my plan, but anything other than base model has a later shipping time. Really? That's not what I saw. I have the 512 gig and it said delivery July 15th. I'll keep checking though. I think I can show it. Oh no, I can't. I forgot. I'm technically live off of the iMac Pro, not the MacBook Pro. I'll play around with the configurator though. Thank you, AJ. I think that even if your argument is like, oh no, the M2 MacBook Air is going to throttle even more because there's no fan, you don't, even that argument doesn't work so much because it's not a Pro. You can't advocate that it's for professionals anymore because they don't put Pro in the name. I got the model with 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. I was not planning on maxing it out just because I don't think I will run out of RAM and that kind of stuff. Harrison too super chatted. He says tried to spec up August 9th. Oh really? Um, I tried configuring 1 terabyte of storage as soon as the store went live. Yeah, what the heck did I order? Um, now I'm forgetting what I got. No, yeah, mine was the 10 core GPU and the 8 core CPU. So I didn't get the binned, but I got the slightly higher priced one. It's 1500 instead of 1200. Um, but let me play around with the configurator because people are saying if you upgrade anything. Oh yeah, order now, pick it up August 2nd, August 9th. If you upgrade the RAM, August 2nd, August 9th, any RAM configuration. If you upgrade the storage, so it seems to me like the binned M2 is pushed back other than the base model. Um, so that the cheapest one basically you have to get it. Um, hopefully you can get it quickly. Oh wow, the first one is already pushed back. The 512 gig one, the one I just ordered with the 10 core GPU and the 8 core CPU. That one is already saying on the website for me July 18th. It's already pushed back 3 days. And we're only 5 minutes in. That was quick. Oh my God. It was, this site's been up for like 5 minutes and it's already pushed back. That's impressive. If you upgrade the RAM, pushes it back to August. August is quite a ways. I forgot. Like, that's several weeks after July 15th, huh? We got some ways to go. Jeff says, "Put choosing the 65-watt charger pushed me back." Oh no, I'm sorry. Shot on my iPhone says, "Got it. Congratulations." Decarcia says, "512 midnight delivery, August 2nd through 9th, early birthday gift." Now let me do some work. All right. I'll let you do some work then, finally. I think I got the midnight. Yeah, because that was the default color. I'm like barely awake right now. I'm being dangerous with my orders. Um, Bag is empty. Let me check my order page again to make sure. Dude, I just signed in. And it wants me to sign in again? Come on. Okay. I'm curious because I hope my delivery time stays the same. Okay. I'm saying remember me. There it is. Yeah, it still says, mine still says, okay, I got the midnight color. Good. Hey, Austin's Tech, thank you for the super chat. And it says it delivers July 15th, so I hope that's accurate. Okay, I'm not getting one, however, you got the same configuration of my M1 MacBook Air. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that basically the one thing I made sure of is that in the event that they use the one, I think it's pretty likely, if they end up using one 256 gig NAND, I won't experience the drawbacks of that. I ran polls because I was curious if people wanted to know how the M2, the worst possible M2 model performed, but there were a lot of people advocating for me to get 256 in the comments. It was a close call, but ultimately 512 came ahead, so I did honor the results of the poll. What time is it in my time zone? This is Apple time zone, so it's 5:07 in the morning for me. Oh, you got it. Joseph Del Mundo says he got it via the Apple Education discount. Nice. Base model says 17th of July for me, but if I switch to dual USB-C or 67-watt charger, goes to 1st of August. I think mine comes with the dual. It doesn't tell me here, but I'm pretty sure it said it was the dual USB-C port. Um, why can't I like view the details? It says this is the details, but it doesn't tell me like which spec I ordered. Basically, like if in case you guys are wondering what I got, I didn't really configure it. If you go to the MacBook Air order page, it's like there's two Macs in a column for the M2 MacBook Air. There's one that's 1200 and there's one that's 1500. Basically, I selected the second one that's 1500, and that one said it was available on the 15th. And the default, yeah, okay. So the default option that comes with that MacBook is the 35-watt dual USB-C port. So I was curious to check that one out. 10 core comes with the 35 dual. Cool. That's good. Same configuration in silver. I could have gotten it July 22nd, but it's worth waiting for the midnight. Wow. Seems like things are getting pushed out quickly. All Australia, all configurations are July 26th. Oh my gosh. So for Apple Education, you get $100 off plus a $150 gift card that they'll email you later. So that's good. Wow. Good deal. That's almost the price of the M1 MacBook Air at that point. Do you plan on buying more Apple products later? Um, I think it's the power adapter that causes it to go later. I guess there might be a shortage of those as well. Hey, Simply Pop says Air's pre-ordered. Nice. Okay. I hope everybody's able to get them in a meaningful amount of time because they definitely seem to be pushing back quickly. Yeah, like the exact model I ordered is already pushed back several days. At least three, maybe a week. Um, oh, 10 days potentially because its range is July 18th to July 25th. Okay, let me check the base model again. The $1,200 model. Still saying July 18th. If I upgrade the CPU, pushes it back to August. If I upgrade the RAM, still August 2nd to August 9th. That's quite a bit. Same with the power adapter, that pushes it back to August. That is not great, especially if you didn't order quick. Man, I hope this live stream just going live at least reminded some people that this pre-order was starting today. Sorry I couldn't start it sooner. I really try to be good about that, but I guess watchOS 9 failed us because I had the alarm set. Can I prove it? Ugh, now it's turned off. I literally had it uh, at 4:20 here on my watch, but it didn't matter. It didn't go off. Um, they gave my old 2015 MacBook Air a $70 trade-in value. Only took off $5 a month getting my base model. Oh no, Abyss, no. Please don't get Apple trade-in. You'd be much better off selling it. Even selling it at a very low price, you'd get probably more than $70. My goodness. To be fair, the 10-core base isn't much faster than the 8 to 8 core. Ordered mine from Very, who are doing 10% cash back if you pay over 12 months, but can pay it off all at once when delivered. Wow. Very. I've never heard of them. 10% cash back, though. That's pretty good. This would be a great time for Apple to have one of those bugs where they give everybody 6% cash back on accident. That's what happened when I got my MacBook Pro. By the way, I haven't received the charge. I haven't been charged for it yet. I don't think I'm going to get charged for it until it ships, though. Um, it's going to be worth the wait to finally own a MacBook Air. I resisted because of the butterfly keyboard, so I ended up getting a Surface laptop too. Oof! Surface. Yeah, I bet this is probably going to be at least faster than that. Hopefully. I'm refreshing the page to see if there's any change in ship time. For me, it's still saying July 18th for the base model, and then if you update it, August 2nd to August 9th. No options to pick it up in store on launch day, unfortunately. July 18th for the model I ordered. That hasn't been pushed back yet, but man, I was not expecting the push. Usually the pushbacks are not that sudden. So I hope everybody who wanted one soon is going to get one, before school starts and everything. Um, I'm cautiously optimistic that I'll receive it before the 1st of August estimate. Yeah, that would be nice if you did. Oh, hey, Alexander, thank you for the super chat. That was very generous of you. He didn't even say anything, but he just super chatted. Thank you. Um, let's see. I got July 22nd for the silver, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs. Okay, a little bit of a wait, but at least it's not August. That's quite a bit. Midnight is a very hot color. The other colors will ship earlier. Oh, really? Will that move up? Why don't they let you decide the color from the configurator? I don't get why they have to put that on, like, the first page. Let me change it here. Gold. Oh, you're right. Okay, if I switch the configuration to gold, it's still available at launch. That's good. Well, midnight is the default color, so if you don't change any settings, that's what it's on. Oh, and it's July 20th if you upgrade the RAM instead of August. Then July 25th with the storage upgraded. Oh, interesting. You're right. So if you change the color, sorry, not gold, starlight. Yeah, Space Gray is still available at launch for the model I ordered with the 512 gig. Upgrade the RAM. it says July 20th, which is not as long a wait. And then if I upgrade the storage to 1 terabyte, it says July 25th. Oh, that's interesting. If I upgrade the storage to 2 terabytes, it's July 20th again. What if I upgrade to the 67 watt? Still July 20th. So yeah, you're right. There definitely seems to be an advantage to getting a time advantage to getting a different color if you're not big on midnight. Um, oh, hey, thanks for the super chat, Bob O'Mara. He says MacBook Air midnight, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs is August 2nd to 8th. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here as well. They made 1,000 total. Yes, crazy tech. I ordered mine. I got my order in right as the site went up. You're not able to order it for pickup, and on the morning of launch day, you should be able to walk in and get one. I don't live that close to an Apple store, so I don't plan on picking it up just because of the price of gas. Maybe if I had my new car, but it's not ready yet. Why don't they just make them all midnight? I don't know. Maybe that new paint job takes a bit longer to get right. I have the Cobalt Blue Surface Laptop 2 getting the midnight color. Yeah, we'll see if Marquez was right, because I think the fingerprints are prevalent on pretty much all the MacBook models. Maybe it's a lot worse on midnight, but either way, it's a brand new MacBook color that I've never seen before. And in the marketing images, at least, it looks really, really cool. So I want to check it out for that, at least. But let's see. It looks like they only have 8 gigs of RAM plus 256/512 gig models on launch day. Is that right? You're not able to find... So basically, you're saying you're not able to find anything with a terabyte of storage available at launch. That's a bit of a bummer, I guess. Yeah, mine's are all saying August 2nd. What if I go with a less popular color? I feel like there's not that many people ordering Starlight. But if the marketing images are true... Okay, sorry. I just need to preface this. If you still want an M2 MacBook Air on launch day and you haven't ordered yet, if you get it in Starlight, you can get the cheapest one, $1,200. That's the base model. You can get it on July 15th, at least where I am, if you order it in Starlight. But anyway, let me switch it to a terabyte. Oh, okay, never mind. It updated. July 26th, if you get the 1 terabyte cheapest possible 1 terabyte option, which is $1,600. But I know that I didn't live stream the M2 MacBook Pro launch, but this is kind of a rare thing. The MacBook Air only gets redesigned once every 4 or 5 years. So that's why I was excited about this launch. Also, I'm just a huge fan of the new design language. There were leakers and analysts telling us for weeks and weeks that the M2 MacBook Air would have white bezels and a white keyboard, and some were even saying a white notch. And I was horrified at that idea, and I was like, no, they better not. They won't do it. They won't do it. And finally, they ended up just actually doing what I thought they were going to do, and they did the notch, and they did the black bezels, and it looks so much better than all of the analyst renderings and stuff, so that made me really excited. I'm getting a Tesla Model 3 hopefully next month. Harrison, thank you for the super chat. 14-inch MacBook Pro base model ships July 25th. Maybe get it if you need 16 gigs of RAM fast. Well, yeah, that's not really new. That's been available for a while, but hopefully you can find them on sale. They should have those on... Are they on Amazon yet? Let me double check, because 14-inch MacBook Pros have been low in supply for months. So if I just search it on Amazon... yeah, they do have it there. Get it July 11th. If you want 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, they always have these good discounts. I found a 14-inch MacBook Pro on Amazon for $1,800. Wow, this is actually a really good deal if you're willing to not buy through Apple. Free delivery July 13th. So this will deliver before the MacBook Air. Oh, it's Amazon renewed, that's why. So it might have some signs of wear or use, but it says the product is refurbished, fully functional, and excellent condition, backed by the 90-day. So if you're not happy with Amazon Renewed, you can return it. You have 90 days to use it. Apple only gives you 2 weeks. So if you buy an Apple product and you want to return it, you have 14 days. But I've had a lot of friends that have bought from Amazon Renewed and said that it's almost unnoticeable from new. But it's $1,800, 16 gigs of RAM with a 512 gig SSD for less than starting price. with the M1 Pro chip and everything, with the 8-core CPU. Okay, so it's a little bit binned, but still, that's pretty dang close. Um, that might be a decent option. Update my 512 gig order just updated to July 15th to July 25th delivery. Oh, okay, what was it before? Let me refresh mine, see if it changed. Now I'm curious. Oh, Apple Watch was not connected to power, so the software update could not be installed. Oh, did it have an update ready? Was that going to wake me up on time, Apple? Come on. Oh, well. Let me check on orders again. I hope mine didn't get pushed back. No, mine still says arrives Friday, July 15th. It doesn't even say potentially 25th. We'll see. You have a large ear on the side of your head. What? Impossible. I've never seen that before. Yes, if you're talking about this thing, I've had a dermatologist check it out. It's not cancerous. But I like how everyone assumes I've never checked it out. Doesn't matter how many times I say that, everyone asks me to keep checking. Got the base model. Hey, Andy Blaha, thanks for supporting the channel. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I got the base model 256 gig midnight delivery next Friday. Let's go. Wow, you were one of the few people to get that in really quickly. Congratulations, David. The Amazon pre-order went live 5 minutes before Apple did. Oh, they're selling the M2 MacBook Air on Amazon? Let me see. I don't see it. I missed it. All I'm seeing is M1 MacBook Airs. Yeah, I didn't think they would have it. I see the M2 MacBook Pro available on Amazon, but it's the same price as Apple. It's $1,300. Man, you can get some really good MacBook Pro prices on Amazon, honestly. I appreciate you caring, but yes, I'm aware of things like that and how they look. Got base model with 67 watt charger within 3 minutes of website refresh, and it says it'll come August 3rd to 10th. Oof. Oh my God. Wow, that 67 watt brick really pushes it back, huh? That much. Best Buy is only allowing pre-orders for the base model M2 MacBook Air. Okay. At least I got a $150 gift card with the purchase. That is good. I'm glad you could get that when you can. Go to the store and it's there to click on. Okay, if I hit Apple Mac. Oh, I see the MacBook Air. I forgot they have this whole like Amazon page. Mac notebooks, all models. I see it. Okay. This item will be released on July 15th. Pre-order. Okay. Hopefully Amazon delivers that on time. But proceed to checkout. Is it still July 15th? Whatever. The stupid sign-in things. Speaking of Amazon, thanks to your tech podcast, I got a used to good condition AirPods Max for $360 plus tax, and they are pristine/new. Apple confirmed the original purchase date was early 2022. Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad you got them under $400. That's the only price point where AirPods Max start to make a little bit of sense, but that's just me. Wonder why Apple is giving those $150 gift cards. Must be angry over the price hike. No, they do this I think it's actually a replacement for the AirPods deal. Before, they used to, during the summer, let you buy a MacBook and you would get free AirPods. But now the price of AirPods has gone up. And because I don't think they want to include a pair of headphones that would cost them $180 a pop, now they're just giving you a $150 gift card instead, which you can use towards AirPods, but it won't cover the entire price unless they give you AirPods too. Best Buy has a weird relationship with Apple. A manager has told me they're only allowed to sell base models of many M1 devices. Intel's whatever goes. Interesting. Maybe that has something to do with the chip shortage or that kind of thing. Jason says, I bought the most basic option in midnight and upgraded the RAM to 16 gigabytes, and it's expected to deliver between August 2nd through August 9th. Wow. It's incredible how much that pushes it back, just one little detail like that. Now we have an indication as to why they took so long to actually take orders for these things. I'm using the gift cards towards new AirPods when they come out. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. It's like offering people a pair of new AirPods. A lot of people are probably going to take them because they're free, but then try to sell them because they already have AirPods and they don't need a new pair or give them away. So if you give them a gift card, they get to decide more useful things for that. Um, can that gift card go towards Apple Care? I think so, because can't you buy Apple Care after you take delivery of a product? After you take it, I think you have like 60 days to activate Apple Care, so maybe you can get it. So I got basically, if you go to the Apple order page for the M2 MacBook Air, there's two trims. There's one that's the binned $1,200 option, and then there's a $1,500 that's non-binned with 512 gigs. I got that second tier, and it says I should get it on launch, which is good. So already it's being pushed back. Both of those options are now saying July 18th, unless you switch the color. Starlight. Oh, okay, it's changed a little bit. Starlight for the trim I ordered is still available at launch, but for the base model, it now says July 18th. How about Space Gray on both? Okay, Space Gray is still available at launch for both trims. It's just midnight that's sold out. Silver on both. Okay, no. Silver for the one I got. The $1,500 one is available at launch, but for the base model, it says July 18th. Sorry, I know so many YouTubers are getting the midnight color, and I'm also getting the midnight color, but it's just, I already have a space gray MacBook, and I've had many silver MacBooks over the years, and I've had the Starlight before, and I didn't think it looked that great, so I'm sorry. I know it's the YouTuber thing to do, but I'm so curious. I want to see it. Robin Like a Box says, you got 60 days to get Apple Care after purchase. I did it back in the day with my iPhone 8. So yeah, you could use the gift card towards that. Let's see. I love my AirPods Pro. Bluetooth is such a pain when Apple doesn't do it. When Apple doesn't do it. Oh, yeah, with the, like, Smart Connect and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm going base. I'll be fine. I don't care. Yeah, I think most people will be fine with the base model. I wonder how many sales Apple got today. Well, I think this is a pretty major release, considering it's the first M2 machine that doesn't look exactly like the old machine. Because there was a lot of people in the press telling everyone why you should not buy the M2 MacBook Pro, and a lot of YouTubers saying it's not worth it, and a lot of YouTubers saying don't buy it, and a lot of people that were like, yeah, you could get the M2 MacBook Pro, but the new MacBook Air has a better display, it has better port selection, new colors, it's a better design, it's thinner, and it's got a better webcam, and it's got the better speakers, better microphone, and all that, and it costs less money, so just wait for that. Everyone was saying wait for that. So I think the real true wave of M2 buyers is now rolling out, and all the people that didn't fall for the Pro naming of the new MacBook Pro, or all the people that aren't diehard Touch Bar fans, are now buying these machines. So delivery times in the first 30 minutes, I think, are already pushed back quite a bit. Let's see. I plan to buy it, but life is beating the heck out of me right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Crazy Tech. I hope life goes easy on you soon. Let's see. Midnight, 1 terabyte, dual USB-C, pushed it back to August when I ordered 2 minutes after pre-orders, but other colors shipped July. Dang. It's all... Everyone wants midnight, I guess. Does the back-to-school deal apply to the M2 MacBook Air? I think it does. I'm not sure how you specify it, but... Oh, yeah, I'm going to get the USB-C to MagSafe midnight color. That looks so much better. I feel like maybe I'll change my mind when I actually see the MacBook Air in person, but if midnight was an option back when I got my MacBook Pro, I probably would have opted for that. Hey, Virgil, thank you for the membership. Gray times are over, midnight and starlight. Yay. You got 2? Oh my gosh. Drew's the optimist Apple buddy that always makes me feel like my purchases are justified. Really? I still get a lot of people telling me I'm not an Apple sheep anymore because of how much I rant on the iPads and stuff. Andy Blaha, thank you for the super chat. He says, what is your iPhone 13 Pro home screen? I would like to show it, but it's my camera right now. I don't really have a great way to showcase what my home screen looks like. Basically, I took a picture if you mean the wallpaper, like I took a picture in Hawaii of the waves and the trees and everything, and that's just my wallpaper right now. But I did get the original iPhone clownfish wallpaper. I found that, and it's in my options of lock screen. So thank you for the super chat. But I just have the basic apps. I don't have a very creative lock screen. No widgets or anything. I really like the midnight color. I just like dark colors. Yeah, it's the closest we've gotten to like having a matte black MacBook design, which I've always wanted, but they've never really done it in recent history. I think they did like a plastic black MacBook back in the day, but um, that was a long, long time ago. I would still love it if they did they got closer with the new MacBook Pros because they like have a blackened out keyboard, so all of the space between the keys is black. I just would like to see a MacBook Pro that was just black all the way over. Um, 2T, you must have bought it for the midnight color because you could have just bought a 14-inch Pro. I guess, yeah, what's the pricing like? I guess I haven't thought about the configurator much. Let me select the base option and max it out. Yeah, get the non-binned M2 chip, get 24 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage. Yeah, you're in 14-inch MacBook Pro territory. Easy at that point. You're way past it, honestly. I guess you get a lot more storage and you'll get a little bit more RAM because 16 gigs of RAM is the default. Um, but okay, if you're at that's interesting, yeah. If you get 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage, that's $1,700. And certified refurbished or Amazon renewed, you could probably get a 14-inch MacBook Pro, which has 120 hertz, which has mini LED. Um, I don't think the battery life is as good, but you get more ports as well for like $100 more. That definitely is bumping up against it. Um, let's see. God forbid you accidentally check out an M2 MacBook Pro 13-inch. Oh no no no, that will not happen. Definitely not. Do you think we'll ever get a matte black one? Possibly, because there's a decent chance that, with Apple Silicon upgrades getting more and more minor and Apple refining their designs, they're not going to be able to make MacBook upgrades feel that major. So color options are an easy and great way to make an upgrade feel like a bigger deal. Because people will be like, "Ooh, that color though." So like the M2 Pro chip, whenever that comes out, and the M2 Max chip, when those come out, the design might look incredibly similar to the last one, so they could just throw in a midnight color to make it feel like a bigger deal. Helps them with the marketing images. They have more things to showcase. Um, Top Trending says he just got charged on his Apple credit card. Oh, really? Let me see if mine was charged. Uh, nope. I have not been charged. That's interesting. Um, does Apple tend to deliver earlier than the estimated range? I think occasionally, but not if it's on the launch day. Like I've never had Apple deliver something when they say like it'll be available in stores on Friday the 15th or whatever. It's never been like actually they shipped it on the 14th. Like that's pretty rare. There's some instances of it happening, but it's not very common. But if you're pushed out to like August and you're not going to get your MacBook till next month, there have been a lot of cases where it's like estimated delivery August, but it actually shows up end of July. They tend to overestimate it for day-to-day shipping, but not launch day shipping. That's the stuff they're very careful about, and they don't ship it until like the day before. At least in my experience, is they're like, okay, we'll ship to you on this day, because that's when it officially launches in all Apple stores and everything. Then they will not ship it until the day before, and then they'll do like next day shipping. Yeah, I have not been charged on my Apple Card yet, so that's typically normal. For me, I typically don't get a charge until they ship it, and they usually don't ship it until like the day before. Did you notice that the USB-C cable on the buy screen is off colored compared to the rest of the cable on the buy screen? I did not see that. I see the what's in the box uh, section. What's in the box? I know the plastic part of the USB-C cable is white, but I think that's just to match the power adapter, and then the braided part of the cable matches the MacBook. They usually only charge the card once it ships. For me, that's how it works, but some people in the chat are saying they've been charged already, but I don't know where they ordered from. When I bought an education store, they just charged me for the gift card. Oh, weird. So they're like, you can't get that back. Even if they ship it early, Apple has a thing with UPS, so they just don't deliver it earlier. I've seen them it make news stories when UPS like will accidentally deliver a day early, but that's very rare. Um, what's in the box? MacBook Air non-bin, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 is the same price as a certified refurbished 14-inch MacBook Pro. Really? That's funny. Non-bin. Let me spec that out. Is it 1800? Yeah, $200 for the 16 gigs of RAM, and then $200 for the, or no, what did you say? 1 terabyte? Um, no, 512 gig. That's $1,600. You found a 14-inch MacBook Pro for $1,600? That's impressive. Or non-binned, is that if that's what you meant? Is 1,700. That's a bit closer, but pick it up in store August 9th. Jeez, I hope that's before class is in session. But sorry, I'm just looking at the pictures of the M2 MacBook Air. It looks so good. It's so clean. I don't even care if the midnight gets a lot of fingerprints. You're not going to be looking at the outside of it that much anyway. Um, Top Trending Gaming says, yep, they charge the gift card, which is probably a glitch. I don't think it might be a glitch, but it also makes sense to me that you can't like get an Apple gift card and then return it. That's not how, oh, sorry, did continuity camera freak out? Did it lag for a second? Sorry about that. I hope it's okay. I did like a 2-hour live stream the other day with continuity camera, and it was perfectly fine. And then I tried to do it for the members stream, and then it freaked out. So for those who don't know, the channel members get to watch the making of, the filming and editing of my tech videos. You have to pinch with 3 fingers to zoom in. What? On what? But I think like there's not an easy way to return a gift card. So when you order a new MacBook Air with the gift card, they'll probably charge you for that temporarily, and then remove the charge once you take delivery. I remember you live streamed a couple months ago and you triple tap the iPad screen to zoom in. I would love it if you showed me how to do that. I've tried it a million times. I think it's in accessibility settings. I don't believe it's turned on by default. You go into accessibility and look up triple tap, and there will probably be a setting. My iPad is still dead. I haven't plugged it in, so I can't show it to you right now. But it should be pretty self-explanatory. Use that search bar in settings. It's very helpful, and a lot of people don't know about it. And people would be like, how do you turn on that one setting? And I'm like, well, what do you think that setting is called? Oh, I don't know, triple tap. It's okay, type that into search, see what you find. It's probably there, but yeah, it's not on by default. Let's see. Someone said it's not a glitch. They charge the money for the gift card and reduce the rest of the purchase by that amount. Oh, okay, interesting. There's a chance if some of you are seeing a charge, it could be a thing where they make sure the payment will work when they're ready to ship. I have seen that happen before where they'll like charge you and then remove the charge a few days later, but I'm not even getting that. So maybe because I bought with the Apple card, Apple already knows that I have a pretty high credit limit and they know the credit card will be able to handle the purchase, so they don't need to test it. I got a little late to the stream. What did you end up ordering? I got the non-binned M2 with the 512 gig SSD, 8 gigs of RAM, just because I didn't want to deal with any potential read and write speed issues if they do end up using the 256 gig NAND. If you were hoping for a review of the binned slowest M2 MacBook Air, I'm sorry. I'm not the guy that's going to cover it, but I assure you there will be 15 YouTube channels that all get that trim, and I'll tell you how slow and terrible it is. Space gray doesn't work well with body oils and sweats. Go silver. Yeah, I was going to say, I have a space gray MacBook Pro, and it has a lot of smudges and oils and stuff too. They will charge the gift card and will be delivered through email once the order has been shipped. Okay, there you go. Anyone else have an M1 Pro / Max MacBook Pro but is getting FOMO? I guess a little bit, just because it's a new design, and now that it's so thin and light, it's probably going to make my MacBook Pro feel very thick and heavy. I have a brand new business credit card, excited to rack up the points on this purchase. Sorry, boss, I need it for work. Nice with the 10 core once you can test it if it gets hot or not. I'm sure it can get hot, but there's no fan in it, so it's probably going to throttle itself to a certain degree. But I think it was Rene Ritchie who bring this up on Twitter. He said that like the base model M1 and M2 chips are not about like prioritizing max performance. It's not about running it at the highest possible clock speed at all time. Those chips, just like the A series of chips in the iPhone, they're going into devices that don't have fans. Those are for efficiency. So it's not so much about getting the maximum performance for sustained workflows. It's about achieving the same performance with less power. That's the goal of the M2, because most of its use case is not being put to the absolute maximum with export tests. However, I will try to replace my MacBook Pro with the M2 MacBook Air. I'm not expecting it to be faster, and I don't expect it to be a better machine because obviously it was much cheaper and it's not a pro laptop. But I just want to start editing all of my videos off of the MacBook Air and see how much it slows down my workflow and see how much of an impact it results in. Option Command Media Super Chatted. He said, "Did Sam think this was an accurate leak?" Which one? I don't know which leak you're referring to, but if you're referring to the white bezeled MacBook Air, I think so. A lot of people seem to think that was true. I don't know. Once the 24-inch iMac came out, everyone was convinced, oh, I know what Apple's thinking. Apple's going to do this. Apple's going to do this. And they were just so off, which I am so grateful for. I did not want the 24-inch iMac trend to continue. And I don't think Apple does either. I think they don't like the backlash that it received. I know a lot of people like the M1 iMac, but I think that me and a lot of people in the tech community made a big enough deal about it that Apple realized, we don't need to go this controversial. We'd rather it be universally liked. What time does pre-orders open? I'm sorry, Matthew. They've been open for a while. They went up at 5 a.m. Jack says, I just got charged on my Apple Card for the non-finance portion at least. Oh, okay. You went with the monthly payment thing. Yeah, mine is still not charged. Hopefully the order went through. I bet 99% of pros can use an Air for the work. It's like they are too powerful to get to be the bottom tier. Well, the M2 is, I still expect it to be an improvement over the M1, which, back when the M1 MacBook Air came out, I reviewed that, and it did a pretty good job. The export times were a bit slower than my iMac Pro, but it was still capable. It still did it. What spec do I recommend? It's like someone mentioned earlier, not telling me what your use case is, not telling me what your budget is like someone saying, what shoes should I buy? But you don't tell me where you're buying them from, what kind of shoe you want do you want a running shoe? Do you just want a comfortable shoe? And what foot size you are. It's like not telling me any info, just say, what shoe do you recommend? And I said, you should get the size 13, or you should get the size 10. It's like, you're not giving me much context, so it's hard for me to recommend. I think if you don't know, if you're asking that question, you should probably get the base model. And people are saying Space Gray is still available at launch, which is, I guess, good if you don't care about which color you get. Let me see. Space Gray on the base model is still available 1 week from today. If you're asking which spec do you recommend, that means that you don't have that much of a use case lined up for it. I have FOMO from not having the midnight color, but not having that USB-C port on the other side is an instant deal breaker for me. Tried the Air before, that drove me crazy. Yeah, I don't think I'll miss that. That's still kind of bugs me as well. And I do honestly, because of my line of work, I do use the SD card slot a lot on my MacBook Pro. I'm actually using it right now. I can just unplug it. But so I'm going to have to dig out a dongle, On my trip to Hawaii, I never once used an adapter or dongle, which is kind of nice. And honestly, in the past few months, even at home, I haven't needed an adapter or dongle. But with the M2 MacBook Air, I probably will. Christian, thank you for the super chat. When I bought my MacBook Pro, I got too little RAM. I wish they have refreshed colors on the MacBook Pro. I would have purchased. Wait, which MacBook Pro did you get? The 14-inch? Because even when I reviewed the M1 MacBook Air last year, I got the 8 gigs of RAM, and I didn't run out. But I think it's just because in my workflow, I don't use that much RAM-demanding apps. I did live streaming, and I did Final Cut quite a bit, and I never got the whole, RAM usage, running out of system memory and that kind of thing. If you have the money, go 16 gigs for future-proofing. I think there's a lot of people that will never take advantage of it, but that's just me. Do you think Apple will ever give you review units? I certainly think you deserve them. No, probably my weird skits where I make fun of Tim Cook and stuff has scared them away, but that's okay. If you take review units, you have to sign contracts, and I'm pretty certain that you have to abide by certain talking points. I don't know. I haven't seen the contract, but I've spoken with people that do get review units, and it sounds like you wouldn't get as much of a voice on the subject as probably I would like to have. Especially if someone like me is going to say, yeah, this M2 MacBook Pro is not worth it, don't buy it. I'm the kind of guy they do not want to send review units to. So um, that's fine. I don't care. There's enough people all getting review units, and we all have. Even if I was getting review units, I'd have to drop the review at the same time as everybody else. So it would just be kind of the same as it is now, is one guy's opinion in an ocean of opinions. Um, so they were. I was not on Tim Cook's nice list way before I did the skits, so I don't think that's the reason they don't include me. But after doing the skits, I was like, yeah, they're definitely not going to do it now. But that's why I put in the chapters. You can easily skip the skits if you don't like them. But I've run polls on them, and most people want me to do the skits, so I'm not going to ignore 70% of the poll just because some people don't like them. I'm gonna make videos based on what people want, and what people are interested in. And I like doing the skits. I think it makes it more entertaining. But if it was like 70% said not to do the skits, then I would not do them. But that's not what happened. Bought the M2 Air with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gig SSD in India. Ships a month later. Oh, a month later. Sorry, Rohan. Did Christian say which one? I'm not asking which spec you recommend. I was asking which one is still available at launch. Oh, well, I think I told you. It seems like Space Gray is available at launch for the base model, but if I update the CPU, it says July 26th. If I upgrade the RAM, it says July 26th. If I upgrade the SSD, everything. Basically, if you don't get the base model Space Gray, it's July 26th. Oh my gosh, what is it with these random super chats? Alex, is that a bug? Did you mean to do that? That felt like an accident. Ugh. Let's see. Alexander Ernst, didn't even say anything, but very, very generous for the super chat. Thank you, thank you. Christian says, I'm an iOS developer and purchased 16 gigs of RAM, 16-inch M1 Max. I find I'm using about 30 gigs of swap per day. Really? That many? Oh, there it is. Jeez. Alex is just bumping that super chat button every day. Thank you very much. You guys are too kind. I'm just worried Tim will send a hit squad to get you. Well, that's a risk we're going to have to take. I'm sorry. You were the only YouTuber who said the M2 MacBook Air would have a notch and no white bezels. Thanks for giving me hope. You're a big reason I held out for this machine. Awesome. I'm glad I gave you hope, Colby, but yeah, it just didn't make sense to me that they were getting rid of the white bezels on the iPad. And I remember Marquez talking about the 24-inch iMac, and he specifically asked Apple. He was like, hey, why did you give it white bezels? And oh, that's true. Doesn't M1 Max come with 32 gigs of RAM? Or am I missing something? Anyway, and he said Apple's response was because for the 24-inch iMac, they wanted it to blend into the home environment better. They wanted it to, blend with the white walls or with the kitchen, kind of like how the Google Nest products have white bezels. They wanted that white bezel to be just more home environment fitting. And that argument falls apart and doesn't work with laptops because people use laptops on the go and they're not using them to blend in with white backdrops and stuff. And all of the white bezels were gone on the entire iPad line. They were all gone on the iPhone line. Even on the SE, which used to, the iPhone 8 had white bezels, but then when they refreshed it as the SE, they got rid of it with the black bezels. So I was like, if it's a mobile product, it makes sense for it to be black by Apple's logic. Personally, I would say even if it's not a mobile product, it should have black bezels. I just think, even though people keep saying that, white bezels are for more user-friendly looks or it's more colorful or it's better for the home environment, I'm like, I don't think people find black bezels not user-friendly, though. I don't think anyone uses an iMac with black bezels and thinks, oh, this is a pro design. This one doesn't blend in with the white walls behind it. It's like, it's what the color of the display is naturally. It's black when it's off. So hopefully, yeah, the YouTubers killed the white bezels off. I hope that's true. I feel like if you get the M2 MacBook Air with 512 gigs, 16 gigs of RAM, 10-core GPU, it's so close in price to the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro that you might as well get that because mini LED speakers and ports. The one thing you should acknowledge that is the advantage of the Air, I think, is the design. Some people might want a thinner, lighter machine. But yes, if you're talking purely from a performance standpoint, if you don't care about how heavy the MacBook is and you don't care about the thickness, um, absolutely. The 14-inch MacBook Pro, now that you can find that available for cheaper, is absolutely worth it over getting a more spec'd out MacBook Air. Let me go to the compare page real quick. Do you think Apple should upgrade to the? Do you think people should upgrade to the 24 gigs for the memory? Probably not, just because of how much extra that costs. If you're getting that much RAM, you're probably better off just getting a MacBook Pro M1 Pro version, a 14-inch mini LED MacBook. Jeez, that stupid 13-inch MacBook Pro ruins everything so much. I also think the battery life is better. Let me double check that. I'm on the compare page. I keep forgetting that I'm not actually live off the MacBook Pro, so I can't show the display. But the battery life on the 14-inch MacBook Pro is 17 hours, and the M2 MacBook Air is 18 hours. Okay, they're pretty much neck and neck. It's not that different. Battery life on MacBooks is so volatile, it's not very consistent. It's not like a hard 18 hours. It's just depending on what you're doing. So over the course of all day, if you're just doing web browsing, then I don't think 18 versus 17 hours is going to be that big a difference. I can't imagine anyone ever has had a convo about, dude, I love your house, but those black bezels are killing the vibe. Exactly. I was like, okay, there's a lot of people out there that can tolerate the white bezels and are like, yeah, white bezels are fine, but those same people would not have complained if the bezels were black. Whereas there are a lot of people that are annoyed by the white bezels and really don't like them, and that's a huge turnoff. So I just feel like black bezels are the most neutral and the most like customer pleasing, whereas white bezels is going to tear people down the line. It's going to be like some people like it, some people don't. I don't think you would have gotten that much complaints over everyone just having black bezels. The Air is so much lighter. Okay, let me compare the two here. Find the size and weight. Okay, so the MacBook Air is 2.7 pounds and the 14-inch MacBook Pro is 3.5 pounds. So it's not even a difference of 1 pound. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of noticeable with a laptop, but I don't think it's that issue. Battery life on MacBooks is so good that it really isn't a big concern. Yeah, I think if you're purely interested in performance and you don't care about lightweight design, then yeah, the 14-inch MacBook Pro, if you can get that at a discount, is probably the better buy. I have the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I have it with a non-binned M1 Max, but I'll be comparing it to the non-binned M2, and I'll have 512 gigs of storage, so that won't be a SSD issue. Let's see. Those machines are so heavy, etc., that I want something light, fanless, and simple for personal use. Really? So Maddie Miller is getting a MacBook Air, and you have a 16-inch M1 Max for work. So you're going to have a work laptop and like a personal laptop. See, what I'm confused by that is if you're going to have a work machine, wouldn't you rather just that be like a Mac Studio, like a desktop? Or maybe you got the MacBook Pro before the Mac Studio came out. I don't know. But there's for those who are willing to go with a desktop, Apple has started selling certified refurbished Mac Studios, which there's even more so of a justification to get those because there's no battery or display to worry about. So it's certified refurbished. You're not going to notice because it's basically brand spanking new. I think that is an incredible value because you can get the M1 Max chip in a refurbished Mac Studio for $1,800. So for under $2,000, you're getting the M1 Max, which is a very powerful, very capable chip, and I highly recommend it based on my experience with it. It's a very if performance is what you're into and you don't care about mobility, that's a great option. White makes your machine look not pro. Nobody wants that. Some people probably don't mind having a machine that's not a pro oriented, but I just think that there's plenty of hardware Apple sells that's not pro oriented that still has black bezels and no one complains. Yes, of course I'm on Twitter. I've been on Twitter for years. I wish there was a 12 gigs of RAM option. 8 gigs of RAM is a bit tight, especially with VRAM sharing system memory now on Apple Silicon. 12 gigs would give some breathing room. The only reason I don't think they do it is just because it complicates the manufacturing lines further. I think it's easier for them to just be like, okay, put 8 gigs in this one and then double that up for the next one. I don't know how the 24 gigs of RAM thing changes things, but um, how much extra? Let me check with the configurator again. How much extra is 24 gigs of RAM on the MacBook Air? I'll try it on the base model. Or no, I should, yeah, let's just do binned because I think a lot of people can live with binned. It's an extra $400. Wow. And then 512 gigs pushes you to 1800 bucks. So, yeah, it's hard to recommend that because it's so close in price to the MacBook Pro. So it really comes down to, keep in mind that portability and the lightweight factor do matter, because that's kind of what the whole existence of the MacBook Air was justified for. From the beginning, like when Steve Jobs launched the MacBook Air, it was not because they wanted a cheaper model necessarily. It was just that they wanted a machine that was more thin and lightweight than the MacBook Pros for people that didn't need all of that extra performance. So aesthetics and the lightweight factor does matter, and that is a selling point. So maybe if someone is like, I really want a thin and lightweight machine, and I don't want to compromise on storage space or on the RAM or anything, but I don't want something as thick as a MacBook Pro, then $2,500 for the MacBook Air. It's kind of hard to recommend, but I guess I could see some people doing it. Does Apple sell a braided USB-C cable? Yes. I think if you go to the Mac accessories section, it should be there. Yeah, USB-C to MagSafe 3. It's $50, which is quite a bit, but you can get it. Actually, if you order it now, the Space Gray one will arrive July 15th, as will the Midnight one and the Starlight one. So it's, it'd be kind of nice to have a color-matched MagSafe cable, but I don't even like really having MagSafe because of the charge light. I don't really care for the charge light on my MacBook. At this point, if I were to buy another cable, I would get a 2-meter USB-C cable because I think it's kind of annoying me that I don't have a long distance. I could charge my MacBook via USB-C and then I wouldn't have the charge light, but I don't have a 2-meter cable that's USB-C. Does Apple sell? Let me look. Does Apple sell a braided 2-meter USB-C cable? I see 1-meter USB-C to Lightning. Where is it? USB-C charge cable, 2 meters. It's $20, but I don't think it's braided. No, it's just regular. So that's why it just makes sense for me to use the included cable I got with my MacBook Pro. But I would like in the future to be able to because I think the iPhone will eventually go USB-C, and the iPad's already there. And once everything transitions over to Type-C, I would like to just have one really nice, really durable cable that I can charge everything with. But I'm not there yet. Silver Voice has just ordered the base configuration, education discount, midnight blue. Coming from a 2012 Mac Mini should be a huge difference. Delivery July 19th. Wow. That's pretty soon, actually. 2-meter Thunderbolt cables are surprisingly pricey. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't need it to be Thunderbolt because I don't plan on using that cable for data transfer. I would just use it for charging, so I would get the just regular USB-C, and Apple's selling one for $20, which honestly for 2 meters is not terrible. But I don't think Apple sells like a braided non-Thunderbolt cable, unfortunately. Let me see. Connection. I want it to be... You can choose USB or Thunderbolt 3, but you can't just choose USB-C. Let me see. Belkin Thunderbolt 3 cable, 2 meters, $80. Jeez. Yeah, I really don't need that. Thunderbolt 3 cable, 0.8 meters. That's way too short. Yeah, I'm not in a rush. MagSafe works fine. Their Thunderbolt cable is braided, I know, but it doesn't it cost like $120 or something like that? It's crazy. I can't even find it. Maybe it's not branded as Thunderbolt 3. It's just branded as... Yeah, Apple Thunderbolt cable, 0.5 meters. That's not what I want. But yeah, with my desk setup, a 1-meter cable is just not long enough to reach the power adapter on the floor. Would you recommend upgrading if I have a Macintosh desktop from 1991? See if you can wait a little bit longer, Chris. I think you could make that last you another decade. I bought the new Apple Watch Series 7 41mm midnight GPS late May off the Apple Store app, and it was delivered Wednesday, June 1st. Really? Wow. That's kind of late in the game. I hope you got some kind of discount on it. I guess you're outside of your return window, so I'm not gonna try to invoke buyer's remorse on you. Enjoy the machine. I hope you like it. At that point, I would rather just go on Amazon and buy a braided USB-C cable from Anchor. Yeah, something with good reviews. I would probably check it out. Wait for the M3. Yeah, I think that'll be a bigger upgrade. Jack Manning asks, "What does binned and non-binned mean?" So essentially, this is very common practice in the CPU and GPU market. But essentially, when they're mass producing chips and they're ramping up production, they have a certain yield. So you're building chips at very, very high volume, and if 90% of them have all the cores activated and they're working properly, and that last 10% of those chips are a little bit broken, where you don't have all the cores active, it's more cost effective and it's easier for the factory to sell those slightly broken chips that don't have all the cores activated at a discount. So that's what we call a binned chip. So the binned M2 MacBook Air has an 8-core GPU instead of a 10-core GPU. So it's easy to say, well, why don't they just make all the chips at full capacity? Well, it's very, very difficult to get the yields high enough to the point where every single chip is perfect. So it makes more sense for them to sell those chips that are slightly broken where the 10-core GPU isn't activated and it's an 8-core GPU, sell those at a discount and put them in a cheaper model and then charge extra for the non-binned version that has all the cores activated. So basically, yeah, just binned means it's slightly less powerful, but I don't think it will result in that big of a difference in performance. If you're just a daily user and you're not really doing that much power intensive things, I don't think you'll pick up on it. But if you do care about having a little bit more export time or improved, or you want a little bit better graphics and that kind of thing, that will make us give you a slight edge, essentially. It's slightly broken like me. Oof, broken. Nobody. Did you choose that username for a reason? Do we need to talk? Do we need to have a talk? So I polled my audience on which storage I should get, and not everyone, but 512 gig was what most voted for, so I got the 512 gig variant. Is the 8 gigabytes of RAM enough if I'm going to use it for Lightroom and some 1080p video editing in Premiere? It'll probably work, you just might be more likely to get throttled. Adobe Premiere is not known for being very light on RAM. Same with Lightroom, so I would say, like, if you can afford the extra 8 gigs of RAM, if you're going to be using Adobe apps, it would probably be a good idea, but I won't say it's, like, impossible to work. Nobody's perfect. That's it. He's perfect right there. Hope the pre-order goes well. Yeah, it did. It was over an hour ago now. And I got my order in, and I should be getting it this upcoming Friday. So 1 week to go until we get to check out the brand new design. I think the biggest thing I'll complain about on this machine will be the 60 hertz, just because I've gotten so used to that on my MacBook Pro. But I don't think the M2 chip is going to be a disappointment for me. I'm going to transition my workflow over to the M2 MacBook Air, and yes, I got it in midnight, and yes, I think midnight is the coolest looking color. I'm a little bit nervous about the fingerprints and stuff, but I already get a lot of fingerprints on my Space Gray, so I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, I don't think I'll be annoyed by the battery life or the performance. I think that the display will be the biggest reason that I can't justify keeping it and that kind of thing. Our Apple Store here only sells the M1 MacBook Air base. Is it still worth it? I'm a web app dev. I would say don't pay full price for it because it's been out for so long. You'll probably be able to find it for cheaper elsewhere, whether it's through Apple Certified Refurbished or potentially Amazon or somewhere else. They probably have them on sale for less. But if you have Certified Refurbished in your area, they've been selling $850 M1 MacBook Airs for quite a while now, and they're still in stock. So if you're a web/app developer, yeah, there's nothing really wrong with the old M1 MacBook Air. It's just a bit of a more dated design. But that's not a big deal, I think, for most. I was kind of bummed when I saw they had the color matched MagSafe cable when my MacBook Pro was a silver one on a space gray. Yeah, that's what I had as well. But I regret, my bigger regret is not getting the silver MacBook Pro. I wanted to, but I forgot to select it at checkout, and the space gray was the default color selected. I was in such a rush and I had so much energy. I was just so excited to get the new MacBook Pro that I didn't think to make sure I got the right color I wanted. And if I were to reorder the MacBook Pro, it would have pushed back my delivery by like a month. And then on top of that, I got this Apple Card glitch where it was 6% cash back instead of 3. And Apple honored that 6% cash back, but they weren't going to honor it if I reordered the MacBook Pro. If you weren't a tech reviewer, would you still upgrade your iPhone almost every year? That's the funny thing, Arnav. I am a tech reviewer and I'm not upgrading my iPhone this year. So it's impossible to say because I don't know what hypothetical non-tech reviewer Drew is doing in an alternate universe. You know, if the backup plan my parents and I had when I got out of high school was if YouTube didn't work out, I would go to the lineman's college. So if I was making a good amount of money, I was still a guy interested in tech. So if I wasn't a full-time YouTuber, there's a good chance that just because I like tech and I like Apple products, maybe I'd still be upgrading every year. Who knows? Maybe if I chose a different career, I'd be making more money than what I'm making doing YouTube. So maybe I would be getting the iPhone 14 in a different reality, but I'm not because I'm a YouTuber and I'm working within a certain budget. But if I would have stayed working at like the Mandarin Ranch that I worked at out of high school and money was more tight, then no, I probably would have held on to hardware for longer and only upgraded every 3 or 4 years. So who knows? We don't know the situation of alternate Drew in a different dimension. But all I know is I was interested in Apple products before I was a full-time content creator as well. And there's a good chance that even if I wasn't a full-time content creator, I'd still be doing it part-time and I'd still be doing tech videos, just not getting paid for them. Who knows? I'd love if Apple made a 13-inch non-Air MacBook with an M2, but mini LED and better speakers, maybe another USB-C port on the right side, but a little less expensive and chunky than the 14-inch. I think, yeah, I was going to say, what you're describing is basically a 14-inch MacBook Pro, just slightly tweaked. You're saying they should put an M2 chip in the 14-inch MacBook Pro and then shrink the size a little bit. But the truth is, at this point, that would probably be so close in price to the 14-inch MacBook Pro, it wouldn't even be worth it. Just find a Amazon renewed 14-inch MacBook Pro. That's essentially what you're looking for. Yes, the Tailosive multiverse. I'm interested to see whether the M2 Air with 16 gigs of RAM will be decent enough for music production. I love the form factor and silent running so much. I think it will be. My friend Randy does music production, and he worked off of an M1 MacBook Air for quite a while, and he didn't have that many complaints. And he, I think, had the 8 gigs of RAM. So with 16, you'll probably be fine. Have a MacBook Air unibody. Is it worth upgrading? Just the unibody? You don't have a computer in there. It's just the chassis. I don't know the situation that you're in, so if you can comfortably afford it and it won't bankrupt you, probably worth it. This new MacBook Air, would you order the Mac Studio display or the Samsung M8 32-inch display? I do not like the M8 display. I think it looks ugly. I don't like the chin. But I don't know if I would necessarily go with the Studio display because that's quite a bit of money. There's some fairly clean-looking monitors you can get on Amazon that don't have a big chin and still have a fairly high resolution. Even from Samsung. Samsung makes some monitors that are way cheaper than the M8 that don't have a big colorful chin or whatever. So if you were getting a monitor to use with the Air, I would recommend just, I don't know, even the LG Ultrafine would be cheaper, but it's just a little uglier. Do I think the 8 GB model will be limiting if I plan to keep it for 5+ years for a med student? I definitely pushed the 8 gigs of RAM on my 2015 MacBook Pro with just a few too many Chrome tabs. Well, yeah, if you already notice yourself running out of RAM on your current MacBook Pro, then yeah, I would say you should get the 16 gigs of RAM if you plan on keeping it for another 5+ years. Alyssa Truman, it sounds like you already knew the answer to that question as you were asking it. The reason I was comfortable getting 32 gigs of RAM on my MacBook was because I had 32 gigs of RAM on my iMac Pro and it was never an issue. I never had the out of memory pop up. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Andy. I got the Graphite Series 7. So it's stainless steel, but not the silver one. So it matches my phone. Anyway, thank you for the donation. Uh, I knew I could live with 32 gigs of RAM, so that's why I was comfortable with it on my MacBook Pro. Plus, it's unified memory, so I know that it's probably acts like even more than 32 gigs of RAM would on my Intel iMac Pro. Do I think the Apple Car will ever happen? I don't think so. I think the ship has sailed on it. I think if they were serious about an Apple Car, they would have launched it by now. It's very late to the game if they do launch one, but even if they do, I think it will be like based on what we've heard, Apple seems to be working on like autonomous driving systems and ride hailing and that kind of thing. And I think they would make something like Google Waymo or Amazon, not Amazon. Well, Amazon owns Zoox, and then there's Cruise, which is like within certain city limits they have these autonomous driving vehicles. It's not a car that you can actually buy. It's just something that you can ride in as a taxi service. I think it's more likely Apple would do something like that at this point than actually make something that you can buy like Tesla does or Lucid does. Or with the enhanced CarPlay thing, I think it's more likely that Apple just wants to continue to improve software on other vehicles, but not make their own just because they couldn't. Manufacturing electric vehicles is really, really tricky. You should consider having a separate movie review channel. I think you would do a great job at it. Is that a joke? No, Matt. We've had Tailosive movie reviews for like 7 years now. Apple Car might happen given that CarPlay dashboard announcement. They still didn't announce a new car. They just said that CarPlay will be getting better. I think the CarPlay announcement kind of confirmed that they're not making a car because it shows if they're willing to give all of these CarPlay features and take over the entire dashboard and give all of the speedometer and everything to other companies, what freaking advantages would an Apple car have? What would that have if Apple's willing to give all of these great CarPlay experiences to everybody in the car space? Um, I don't ideas on iPadOS 16 and any other software features you think they should share with macOS? Oh, I've done countless videos on that. Basically, I think that it's taking Apple far too long to add things to iPadOS. You know, we can't even get a calculator app, and they just want to do windowed multitasking on the M1 chip. It's going to be much, much faster and much more efficient if they just allow dual boot. Just bring dual boot to the iPad and let it run macOS. That would fix a lot of problems very quickly. But other than that, yeah, I want the Pro apps on the iPad. I want terminal commands. I want more multitasking options. I want external webcam, external monitor options. Like I can't do this right now. I'm live streaming off of my iMac Pro using continuity camera with my iPhone. I can't do this on an iPad. And you can plug in external microphones to an iPad, but it gives you no audio configuration settings like the Mac does. So there's so much more you could do with a Mac, despite it running on the exact same silicon, and I think that's messed up. When do you think iOS 16 beta will release for the public? Probably like next week or the week after. They said July, right? I like Lucid Air, but with Apple CarPlay instead of laggy stock system. I think Lucid, based on how Peter Rawlinson has talked about Apple in earnings calls and stuff, it's very, very likely that Lucid Air will support the enhanced CarPlay experience, which is a great idea because based on John Rettinger's reviews, it sounds like the software on the Lucid Air is pretty bad. What do I like better, Tesla interface or CarPlay? I've used the Tesla interface more than CarPlay. I don't have that much experience with it, but I guess they're pretty close. I feel like on one hand, I prefer the Tesla software just because I think hardware and software usually work better when they're designed by the same company. So if you had Apple design a CarPlay experience for the Tesla, it would probably be missing things and it wouldn't be as good. But at the same time, I'm a big Apple sheep, and I like all of Apple's software. But I like all of Apple's software on my own hardware. You know, I've used the Apple TV app on my Roku, and it's pretty laggy and not very optimized, and it doesn't work very well. But I like all of Apple's software when it's on Apple's own hardware, so you wouldn't really get that if they put CarPlay on the Tesla, and technically you don't get that on any car with CarPlay because none of them are made by Apple. So I think I would still at this point, I would still buy a Tesla over an Apple car because if Apple did come out with a car, it would probably be like the Lucid and it would be $100,000 and super luxurious and really fine details to the interior, but it would not be in my price range. When will my Tesla be delivered? That is the question. At this point, it still says, I guess I can check it right now. Last I checked, it said the delivery window is between August 7th and September 11th, but that's changed several times, so I'll check it this morning. Yep, it still says August 7th, so hopefully less than a month to go. But I've been following people posting their delivery estimates online, and they typically don't mean very much. So hopefully sometime next month, maybe later. I had to get up early this morning, yeah, because of because this is when the MacBook Airs went live. But I got my order in, and I should get it on launch day, so I'm excited. Let's see. Jay Snado super chatted. He says, "With this new MacBook Air, would you buy the Apple Studio display or the Samsung?" Did you not hear me answer that? I thought I answered it earlier. I do not recommend the Samsung M8 display. I don't think it looks good, and I don't think it's priced very well. I think there's far better Samsung monitors for cheaper that are just not the M8. And if you're going to be using it with your MacBook, you don't need to worry about it having AirPlay because Macs have AirPlay anyway. So I answered that earlier, but basically, I don't think those are your two only options. I think that you should buy a monitor cheaper than both of those, unless you just really, really care about center stage and that kind of thing. The Samsung M8 isn't a great value. I don't know why there's so much hype behind it. I don't either. There's so many cheaper 4K monitors that Samsung makes, and they don't look bad, honestly. You just go on Amazon right now. Seriously, just everyone follow along. 32-inch 4K monitor, and let's see what we get. First result is $400. There's one with super thin bezels for $220. Samsung makes one that doesn't have a chin with the same symmetrical bezel all the way around, and it's $300. So it's like less than half the price of the M8. If you're not going with the Apple aesthetic and you're not getting a studio display, then save a lot more money. That M8, I don't understand the hype around it. Apple World, thank you for your support. Good morning, Drew. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, man. What Tesla model did I get? I basically got the cheapest one you can get, except with the white interior. I splurged with the white interior a little bit, but I got the Model 3 rear-wheel drive. But it has a new battery chemistry in it that most Teslas don't have, so I'm excited to review that because I don't know anyone in my personal life that has an LFP Model 3. That's the type of the battery chemistry. And I'll talk more about it on the EV channel, obviously, but it's a battery that can handle a lot more cycles. It can last a lot longer, which is good for me. And you can charge it to 100% every day with very little degradation. Unlike our phones and laptops and stuff, where it's recommended to charge to 80% a day. That's what most EVs do. This is using this new chemistry. And I believe the Model 3 I ordered is the only electric vehicle in the United States that is using this new chemistry. And this new battery tech is, I think, going to be what most EVs run on. If you're the type of person thinking, I want to buy an electric vehicle someday, but I can't right now because they're too expensive, most likely when you do buy an EV, it will have LFP. That chemistry is cheaper, and it will allow companies to scale up faster. And once EVs start becoming more accessible, more affordable, it will likely be because they're using LFP batteries. How did you decide on Tesla? I want an EV, but I can't decide on what's best. This is definitely turning into an EV stream, but I guess we're near the end of it anyway. The monitor that I got was the Huawei MateView. It's a great color, accurate monitor and much cheaper than the studio display. Yeah, I think a studio display is great if you care about the bells and whistles. If you really want center stage and you really want the extra USB-C ports on the back and you really want the single Thunderbolt port that can power your machine and also do data at the same time, that's what it's good for. But if you don't need those bells and whistles, then it's quite expensive, and there's way better monitors that have the same specs. I don't think 5K is worth it. 4K, 5K, you're not going to notice the difference. At least I don't until you pixel peep. I have a 5K monitor, and I've used a 32-inch 4K monitor, and I thought they looked great. They both looked fine. You're only going to notice the 5K over 4K unless you get close up to the screen, which most people don't do that. Alternate Reality has one on order as well, the same as me. That's cool. I decided on the Tesla because I prefer, for one, the LFP and the efficiency. A big reason for me, for one, I can talk about this a little bit. I'm very grateful for the super chats. You guys are super duper generous because um, this is a dream job for me, and it doesn't really feel like a job. People ask me like, "What are your hobbies?" And I'm like, I kind of work for a hobby because I enjoy reviewing these products in the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro and talking about the new silicon and testing it out and the new iPhones and the software changes and stuff. This is fun for me. And I want you guys to know that I'm so incredibly grateful that you watch, even if you don't super chat, even if you aren't a channel member, just by watching my videos, you make this job a reality. And I don't take that for granted. And I hope to always be super grateful and appreciative for it and not just assume that I can always have this as a job because the tech community is volatile and sometimes news gets more boring or sometimes I start making skits and people stop watching and I have to admit there's so many tech creators out there that are far better than I am that do a far better job reviewing the specs and diving into the designs and tearing them apart and far better B-roll and far better lighting and far better camera equipment. There's far better channels out there than me, but you guys still choose to watch for some reason. And because I don't take you for granted, that's why we budget and that's why we try to be cost effective with our spending. Obviously I do splurge on certain things like MacBooks or phones and stuff, but it's because I know I'm going to use the crap out of them. And when you're making 2 or 3 videos a day and editing podcasts every week, I know I'm going to utilize tons and tons of local storage on my MacBook Pro. So that's why there's certain things I splurge on, but we don't run the air conditioner that up much here because we know it saves money, and we budget our food to spend best we can under $250 a month. And if you guys are wondering, like, hey, Drew isn't keeping the M2 MacBook Air, but we're super chatting, where's this money going? We invest in both real estate, so this house is paid off, so we don't have rent or a mortgage to worry about, and then we invest the rest in index funds and in stocks and in retirement accounts, so that we can build up our passive income via dividends and how the stock gains over time, so that I'm not doing that because my end goal is to become just super rich. I'm doing that to ensure no matter what happens in the future, I'll still be able to keep making content because like Alex is still super chatting for some reason, which is really generous of you. You've already super chatted way too much. You're not even saying anything. At least ask a question. But seriously, thank you, Alex. It's very generous. But I want to be able to still live stream and make videos, even if less people are watching in the future, because I've just kind of accepted that there are other channels with bigger budgets and with more of an interest in fancier B-roll and doing teardowns and stuff. And I don't really have a need or a desire to go into that field. I kind of like doing what I'm doing with these buyer's guides and reviewing products occasionally, but mostly talking about like speculating on here's what Apple might do and here's what the rumors are and here's what rumors I do believe and don't believe. Need that refund button, I know, but YouTube still won't get on it. Anyway, I want to be able to do these streams, and I hope you guys know I would still make these videos and I would still do these live streams, even if there were no super chats, even if there was no channel members. And I want to get to the point where we have enough passive income that I don't need to even worry about how many people are watching the videos. Thankfully, you guys keep watching, but I want to keep doing these regardless of how much or how the channel performs, because I've seen that there's definitely a lot less growth in the tech community than there used to be. We're losing people to TikTok now, and TikTok's not as monetizable as YouTube, and there's so many tech creators all posting the same thing that they all kind of drown each other out. So I'm trying to like survive the drought by like appreciating and being wise with my money in the short term. And that all ties back to why I chose the Model 3, because it's going to have the lowest cost of ownership, I think, out of most of the EVs that I was able to choose from. So I want fast charging capability because I do plan on driving it on road trips. Like a lot of my family lives out of state. And with the fast charging capability of a Tesla, I can drive to my parents' place in one day. Whereas if I bought something cheaper, like a Chevy Bolt, it would not be possible to do in one day. I think it would be, if I didn't stop to rest, it would be like 20 hours of driving, which I'm not willing to do. I can do like maybe 14 hours. That's kind of my limit. And the Tesla can do that drive in 14 hours, but the charging capability is much faster on the Tesla with the supercharging network, which I prefer. I prefer superchargers to Electrify America stations. And of course, I like autonomy. I like the autopilot feature. And I know there's lane assist and lane keep and adaptive cruise control on other EVs, but I want to try out the full self-driving beta. I don't personally believe in the robo-taxi thing happening. I don't think we're going to get there, but even if there's a chance that EVs might eventually get software that lets you ride in them, and you have to pay, you have to be in the car, but you don't have to pay attention. I think that Tesla has the greatest chance of that happening because Tesla designs their own silicon from the ground up. They have a full self-driving computer. They also have like the best infotainment processors. Like they're using AMD Ryzen processors and pretty decent GPUs, and they have like the biggest display you can get in the price point that we were marketed towards. So there's bigger displays in higher priced vehicles, but we did not have an infinite budget. Our budget was like around $50,000-$60,000. And as far as vehicles you can get in that price point, the Model 3 had the biggest display, which I care about. And I like the interior design. I like how simple and clean and minimal it looks. And also, I plan on working out of that car too, because the USB-C ports in the Tesla are actually 35 watt capable in the front. And I have powered my MacBook Pro off of a 30-watt charge brick, so I will likely be able to work off of and charge my MacBook Pro. Granted, not very quickly, it won't fast charge, but I'll be able to power it off of the Model 3. So again, I'm willing to splurge on certain things that I know I'll use a lot of, so I know I'm going to use the crap out of the Model 3 when I get it. And I wanted the fast charging performance, but it's also the most energy efficient vehicle on the market. So that was very tempting to me. It uses the least amount of power of anything you can buy currently, and for a great price, and the battery should last a long time. So that's how I settled on that. But anyway, Harrison 2, so thank you for the super chat. Says, which wife would do more vids like Dub leaks? I want her to as well. Don't get me wrong. I want more videos with my wife, but she is not. She doesn't love being on camera, and trust me, she did not know very much about what she was saying for that Dub video. I was like, honey, I'm coughing a lot and I'm very sick, but I want to do this last minute leaks thing. Can you step up? And she was like, okay, because you really want this video to be made, and because you're really sick. She was just like, is there anything I can do to help? You know, what can I do? And I said, if you film the video for me, that would be helpful, and I think a lot of people would find it fun. So she was like, okay, I'll do this once. But she had very little interest in coming back, and I had to walk her through the script several times because she had no clue what she was talking about. So I've invited her on the live streams and stuff, like, hey, you should come in and give your thoughts. And she's like, I don't know or care about any of this stuff. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to force her to do things she doesn't want to do, but just know that it's not from me not asking her. Connor Dunaway, thank you for the super chat. What's the difference between the Mac Studio and Mac Pro? Also, do you prefer MagSafe 2 over MagSafe 3? I don't really like MagSafe at all. I would prefer USB-C charging, but because I just don't find it very useful. I feel like even when I'm not looking, I still have to feel for the MagSafe port. It's like, okay. And then sometimes it doesn't plug in properly and you have to adjust it anyway. I would rather have 4 USB-C ports than 3 with MagSafe, but I like it being braided. I just don't like the charging light, so I don't really remember MagSafe 2 very well, but I guess MagSafe 3 is probably newer and supports higher wattage, so I guess I prefer that. But the difference between the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro is going to be, obviously the Intel Mac Pro is dated, so that shouldn't count, but the Apple Silicon Mac Pro will be faster. It will be using like 4 M1 Maxes stitched together, whereas the Mac Studio uses just 2. And there's some talk that the Mac Pro will be more modular. I'm not sure how they're going to figure that out, but there's been talks that there's going to be more RAM configurations and PCIe SSD configurations. Obviously, the read and write speed wouldn't be as good on those, but a lot of people are thinking the Mac Studio will be a powerful Mac that isn't very upgradable, whereas the Mac Pro will. I'm still not sure. I'm just convinced that what is it? The Mac Pro will still not be very upgradable. It'll just cost a lot more. I think it'll start at $8,000 and spec up to like $20,000 or $30,000, and you'll be able to get like hundreds of gigs of RAM with it instead of just 64. or 128 and that kind of thing. You'll probably be able to spec it up to 256 or 512 gigs of RAM and that kind of thing. Um, but and they'll have a M2 Extreme chip or something like that. Something above Ultra, I think it'll be rocking. So it'll just be for ultra professionals, someone who needs more performance than the Mac Studio, which I agree is a little redundant. They're very similar. I think the Mac Studio currently sits where the old Mac Pro used to sit. You know, the trash can Mac Pro started at 3,000, and if you maxed it out, it was like 6,000. Where now the Mac Studio starts at like 2,000 and maxed out it's like 8,000. So what was her reaction when she learned that you bought the $2,000 studio display? Just nothing. She knew I was going to get it. I talked to, believe it or not, I talk about what I get before with my wife. It's not a surprise to her. Um, I got the non-binned 512 gig M2 Midnight MacBook Air with 8 gigs of RAM, and I should get it next Friday. Let's see. So that's what I ordered for those asking. B-roll, etc. are nice things, but it's the personality of the presenter that really matters, and that's why we're here. Well, thank you, Victoria. I appreciate that. Louise does a great job on the food channel with food prep. Yeah, we got to get back into that. It's just life is really busy right now with family stuff going on behind the scenes. Not bad things, just busy things. Will you be going live for the Apple event? Of course I am. This thanks to you guys. This is my full time job. So yes, of course I'll be live for the Apple event. No question. Alternate Reality says I pre-ordered the Lucid Air Pure, but I don't think I'll go through with it. That's fair. I could understand why, but just keep in mind if you do take delivery of it, you'll probably be able to flip it because of how limited they are in supply. And if you ordered it before the recent price hikes, you already have an appreciating asset. So if you do go through with it, you will likely get all of your money back and then some if you sell it. Um, let's see. Did you order the 8-core or 10-core GPU? So I said non-binned, which means the 8-core CPU and the 10-core GPU. So basically, I didn't get maxed out RAM or storage, but I got the best possible, read and write speed and the best possible GPU. Um, let's see. I traded in my Apple Watch Series 6 to get the Apple Watch Series 7. I still don't recommend trade-in, but okay. Apple trade-in is a ripoff. Quick round of rumors about the M2 Pro Mac Mini, please. Entertain me. There's not much to say about it. I mean, it'll have the new chip, and it will probably, because it's the M2 Pro, it'll probably be like $1,100 or something like that. You have to special order the other chips, which was completely unaffordable. Special order the other chips. I think I understand what you're trying to say. But yeah, I think most people should go for the lower end MacBook Airs because once you start speccing them out, they get really close to the price of the 14-inch MacBook Pro anyway, or surpass them. Let's see. It would be a Mac Mini that's cheaper than a Mac Studio, but probably not $800. I bet it would sit like the M2 Pro Mac Mini will probably be like $1,200 to $1,300. Hopefully they put some front ports on it. I think that would be nice. But that might end up being a Mac Studio exclusive type of thing anyway. Not sure. Will the invites be going out for the Apple event next month? No. They typically go out like a week before. So you'll likely get, usually these things are very easy to guess. Pretty much the Apple events in September are typically the second Tuesday of the month because you have an unveiling and then you have a pre-order that Friday, and then you have the deliveries the following Friday. So there's kind of an easy S-curve to predict. So here's Drew's special source leak everything here. Happy for you, Drew, and all your accomplishments. Thank you, Loner Boy. I appreciate you for sticking around for so long. Here's my my wild prediction, my wild leak. I think the invites for the Apple event will go out on September 6th. And then the invites will be announcing that the event will take place on September 13th. And then you'll be able to order the new iPhone 14 on Friday, September 16th at 5 a.m. And we'll have to get up early just like we did today. And then first deliveries will be September 23rd. They do the exact same thing in September every single year. It's very predictable. And those are the dates that I think are most likely. And there's no holidays on those dates. So that seems pretty likely. Back with in-person events, they'd be announced in late August since they have to give people time to fly out. No, I don't agree because I'm not convinced that the September event will be in person. I think Dub is when they get a bunch of developers and they have a bunch of software classes and that kind of stuff. I don't think they'll do it with September events because those are just hardware related, and they can either send review units to people or let people who are going to review them in advance know about the event, but they don't have to announce the event. They don't have to announce it. They can just give it. They can just email them and say, book out this time. And I think most YouTubers know about the iPhone event being in September. That's not really a huge surprise. Aren't you worried about the finger mark problem on the color? Do you wipe down often? No, I'm not worried about it. No, I don't wipe down often. But I get fingerprints and oil smudges on my space gray MacBook Pro anyway. I don't really look at that aspect of it. I mostly use it when it's open. We'll see. Michael Burkhart usually ends up being right about a lot of things, so maybe they'll announce the Apple event early, but I don't think they will. I want Silver Air with 1 terabyte of storage, maybe 16 gigs of RAM. I can use my student email address. Oh, there you go. Too much inside Intel here to be Apple Silicon. That's good. Too much inside Intel. Anyway, this has been fun, guys. I'm sorry I could live stream all day if I'm not careful. But I got other work. We're gonna record the podcasts now, and the channel members get to watch the podcasts when I finish them today. Everybody else gets to watch them tomorrow. But I appreciate you all for your incredibly generous super chats and for everybody tuning in. So I'm glad I was able to get my order in. It should get here this upcoming Friday, and then we'll do a unboxing and everything and all the comparisons, and you'll get all my impressions and more MacBook content to come. So thanks again all for tuning in, and I hope you all have an excellent rest of your day. See you soon. Bye-bye.